Hi, welcome to ThinkWave, the all-encompassing cloud-based platform that allows you to manage your student enrollment, class details, create a comprehensive gradebook, make custom reports, and so much more. You can always contact us for questions at support@thinkwave.com. Let's get started. First, at the ThinkWave homepage, you will be able to see that ThinkWave is a cloud-based platform, so it can be used on a PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or any other mobile device. It has a responsive layout, so changing the size of the browser, window, or the viewing device will adjust the interface so you can use it on any of those devices. Now, if you scroll down a bit, you will be able to see a link to our live demo. This is a fully filled out demo that will allow you to try out the features of the ThinkWave platform. We will start by walking you through the administrator view, then the teacher view, and finally the student and parent views. When you log in, you can see what view and school year you're in quickly. From the top right, you can see that it says 2026-2027. When logging in, the first thing you will see is the dashboard. In the Start section of the screen, you will see an easy step-by-step guide that will help you set up your school in the most optimal way. You can also see a quick links section that will take you to the necessary page in ThinkWave in order to do said action. For example, invite teachers, students, and parents. On the dashboard, you can also see a place for administrators and teachers to check for the most recent attendance of the day. If you navigate to the Accounts tab, the administrator can access previous years. A user can have multiple roles. As you can see, you could switch between administrator view, teacher view, student view, and parent and guardian view. In this pull down, you will also be able to choose dark mode or keep it in light mode as the default. Now we go to the Messages tab. An administrator can create messages for either all students or a certain groups of students. Make sure you add a title to your message. And add the date that you plan on posting the message on. You can choose if you would like to enable discussion responses right over here, or decide if you would like it to be a broadcast announcement. You can also choose if you would like users to be logged on to see the message, or if you would like it to be public. Next, type your message into the body text box. You can add multiple attachment file to a message as well. Those messages will be mailed out based on your email preferences. Once you post the message, it will appear on your screen right over here. You also have the ability to filter messages based on the groups you sent them to. For example, if you want to see messages that were sent only to parents, click here. Now, let's go to the Students tab. The Students tab is where you have all of student information. You can upload a photo right here and add any relevant information in these boxes here. To create a custom field, click Manage Custom Fields, and then at the top, click Add Custom Field. You can make sure that these custom fields apply to either all students in your school or a particular group of students. You could have it be a short text, a long text, a predefined choice that you create yourself, or a date field. Don't forget to add the name and click Save. Now let's go back. Over here, you can upload any files that you would like to see for your student. For example, allergy records or immunization records. This can only be seen by the admin. The teachers or parents are not able to see this information. To see a parent account, click here. A parent can have multiple students assigned to their account. This is useful if you have students that are siblings in the account. This way the parent doesn't need multiple logins. Just click and add whichever students you would like. Similarly, the parents can have 2 different accounts for one student. This is helpful when you have separated parents at your school. This way, the 2 parents don't need to share one login and they will be able to individually log in and see their child's progress. Once the student has logged in, you will be able to see the username that they created right over here, as well as the last time they had visited right over here. As an administrator, you're able to go in and visit a student account. This way, you will be able to see what the parents and students see, but we'll go over that later. As I mentioned earlier, you can put in any student information right here. You can adjust their grade levels right here. You can put in an email for automatic email notifications right over here, as well as their phone numbers. You can see the classes that the student is enrolled in right over here, as well as the groups that they are enrolled in. To see all of these sections, you can just go and hover over the Students tab at the top. Now, let's go to the Teachers tab. This is where all teacher information is kept. You can add the teacher's name, last name, email, phone number, or any other information you deem necessary. You can add the teacher's image right over here. The teachers have their own custom fields as well, which you can add by clicking Manage Custom Fields. Over here, you can see all of the classes that the teacher is teaching, as well as assisting in. The administrator can add any files they would like to keep on the teacher right down here, such as their diplomas or educational records. Once the teacher logs in, the administrator will be able to see the teacher's username, as well as the last time they logged in, similarly as with the Students tab. When the teacher logs into their gradebook, they will see an account that is populated with all of the students as well as the classes that the teacher is teaching. The administrator can visit the teacher gradebook by clicking right over here, but we'll go over that in a second. Now, let's go to the Classes tab. The Classes tab is where you create your courses. In order to create a new class, please click on Add Class, add the name of the course, select which term the course belongs to, select the period that the class usually takes place, and assign a teacher right over here. You can add a section ID, however, that is optional. After you've done that, click Save. Then the class will appear on your screen. You will be able to edit the final grade scale. I will choose % for this case. This is what will show up on the report card. You can also edit the credits, select the class to be an honors class, or select it to be excluded from the report card and transcript in the case that it's a homeroom class where you only take attendance. You can also add as many assistants as you would like to this particular class. It's up to you how many you would like to add. They will also have the ability to grade the students' work. You can revise the terms that the class is in, as well as revise the schedule. So for example, if it meets on a different day or a different time period, you can edit that here. Over here, you can add a standard and skill. These are graded criteria that are outside of the actual graded work. So for example, for a lower grade such as kindergarten, you would like to grade your students based on their effort and discipline. You simply select the 2 different skills and assign them to the class. Later on, the teachers will be able to grade their students based on these particular skills that you have added. In order to enroll the students into the class, please go to the right-hand side and click Enroll Students right over here. Select whichever students you would like to be in the class. And once you've done that, click Add Selected, and you will see the students appear in the class. You could also enroll the students through the Students tab. However, you would have to enroll each student individually, so we suggest doing it through this particular feature. Now, let's move on to the final grade scales. Before we do that, let's switch back to a pre-populated class with grades. When going to the Final Grades tab, you have the option to see Final Grades by Class or Final Grades by Student. Let's start with Final Grades by Class. Over here, an administrator can see all of the final grades in a particular term for a particular class. We have the final teacher grade, as well as the ability to admin override the grade if the admin deems necessary. The administrator also has the ability to edit the amount of credits that a student has received for a particular class and add a comment. Over here, we have the graded skills that I mentioned about earlier in the previous section, as well as the ability to add the grade right over here. The admin can switch back and forth between the different terms to view a more detailed report on the grades. The administrator also has the ability to lock grades once the grading period has passed in order to prevent any tampering with the grades. Let's go to the Final Grades by Students tab. Over here, the administrator can see the final grades of one particular student in all of their terms. We have the same option of the teacher grade and admin override in all of the different terms. This is useful if you need to pull up records on a particular student or show them to a parent or a guardian all in one place. This makes it easy to keep track of an individual student's progress. Over here, the administrator can switch between the groups of students that they would like to view or keep the tab at all students, just like we have here. Now, let's go to the Attendance tab. Just like with the Final Grades tab, we also have multiple subsections of the Attendance tab. We have day attendance, class attendance, and student attendance. Let's start with day attendance. Over here, the administrator can see the overall overview of all of the students and their marks for the day. Over here, we have the teacher attendance mark, and over here we have the administrator ability to override that mark. If an administrator wants to see details for a particular student, they can either go to student attendance or click on this details mark right here. As you can see, it took us to student attendance, and it gives us a very detailed overview of all of the marks a student received for the day. We have the teacher mark here, as well as the ability for the admin to override that mark by clicking this pull down. They can mark the minutes and add any comments pertaining to the tardy or absence. To see the class attendance, please go to the class attendance tab. Please keep in mind that by default, ThinkWave marks everybody present. So if you see no marks or if you see this dotted line, that means everybody is present and you don't have to change anything. This is done for user convenience, so you don't have to go through and mark everybody present every single day. Instead, we just have this mark. And if anybody is absent, just select it from the pull down. Once the attendance for the day has been taken, an administrator can lock the attendance marks just like with the final grades, and nobody can edit those marks. Please use this calendar to switch between days or this pull down between months, this section to switch between terms, and this section to switch between different classes. Now, let's go to the Reports tab. So as you can see, the Report tab has quite a bit of different reports over here. I won't go over all of them, but I will go over the main ones that I think you should know about. So, first, let's start with the basic report card. This is our default report card, and it has quite a bit of customization available. First of all, you can change the title. You can change it to be multi-term or single term. If you select single term, you would have to select a particular quarter you would like to generate the report card for. We will go with multi-term for this one. As you can see, I've selected the 4 quarters here. You can select it to be portrait, landscape, mode, whichever you prefer. And down here, you can select which kind of information you would like to see on the report card. For example, GPA, credits earned, or grade level for the students. Down here, you can select if you would like to see attendance, or if you would like to exclude it, or if you would like to have it by broad attendance marks. We will have exact attendance marks, and I have selected tardy as well as absent. Down here, you can add any custom text you would like, as well as change the font for the report. Over here, you can add any custom fields you would like to see, for example, allergies, and click Save. Now, let's take a look at what it would look like generated. So once again, this is our default report card. As you can see, it has the 4 different quarters. It has the graded skills that I mentioned in the Students tab, as well as all of the comments that the teachers have added and the attendance for each quarter. We also have the custom field down here. Now let's take a look at the custom transcript. As you can see, it's also customizable, though a little bit less than the report. You can change the name. Let's have it just as transcript. You can include skills, include percent, and add custom text as well. You can change the font as well as the layout, and as you can see, add custom fields as well. Now let's take a look at what it would look like. So this is our default transcript, and if you've used ThinkWave for a while, you will see all of this information over here on the report. You can also add transfer history in the Students tab if a student has transferred. As you can see, here's the custom text and the custom field as well. The next report, I believe, is very important and gives a general overview, especially for parent-teacher meetings. Basically, it gives an overview of a particular quarter or term for a student for all of their assignments in all of their classes. So as you can see here, it shows a detailed report of all of the assignments the student has done, as well as how they got the grade they have. Over here in the homework, they have a 90%, and in the quizzes section, they have 40%. Which is why they have a final grade of a C over here. Once again, this is great for parent-teacher meetings. For the attendance report, the reports I would recommend to use are the Student Detail 1 and 2. I will show you the Student Detail 2 since they're pretty similar, as well as the weekly attendance report. So let's take a look at Student Detail 2. Over here, you can adjust the name. You can adjust the start and end dates of the period you would like to see, as well as which kind of the attendance for which period you would like to see it for. We do day attendance here, as well as exact or broad category marks. We will go with exact. As you can see, these are the ones that I selected for this report. You can select either only summary. We will see the reports in detail. So let's take a look. As you can see, it shows us that we have 3 absent marks and 1 excused late mark. Down here, you can see exactly the days the student got those marks in detail. So the weekly attendance report, you can select the classes you would like to print it for, as well as the week you would like to print it for. You can select admin, staff, or final attendance. As you can see, Everybody has been present for this week except this one student on this particular Thursday. The other reports I would suggest looking at are the data reports. This allows you to export any necessary data from the system for students, teachers, parents, classes, or groups. Over here you can print the GPA for any student, class enrollment, the gradebook report, and you can print out login invitations. You can also do that in the Setup tab, but we'll get to that in a second. Over here we have the custom reports section. If your school has any particular needs, please reach out to support@thinkwave.com. Email us a reference of what kind of report or transcript you would like to see, and we will create one for you. Now, let's move on to the setup. We've already been over a few functions in the Setup tab, such as the custom fields, as well as the standards and skills. But let's take a dive into the rest of the features. In the general box, you can see that you can customize colors for your school. You can either select from the predetermined choices or choose your own color scheme. Just click Save once you're done, and that would be that. In the Files section, you will be able to see all of the files that have been uploaded into your school. In the grade levels, you will be able to create all of the grade levels that should match your school, as well as you can exclude them from the transcript if necessary. Over here, you can also mass enroll students. Right over here, just select the students and click Add Selected. Over here, you can create certain groups of students, for example, sports groups. This will make messaging easier. In order to enroll students into the groups, just select the students and click Add Selected. Over here, you can adjust the maximum comment length. Just change the number of characters you would like to see and click Save. And over here, you can add the school name and address. In the Schedule section, click on any of the options, and it will take you to this page. Now, to set up the year terms and subterms, first set up the school year. That's really important. After setting up the school year, you will be able to create the terms and subterms. Please make sure that the terms and subterms are nested within the school year dates. So for example, semester 1 starts on August 7, and semester 2 ends on June 6th. That aligns with the school year dates perfectly. After, you can go and create the periods according to your schedule, and you can select which dates your school has classes. So if you have a Monday through Friday schedule, please make sure that Saturday and Sunday are deleted out of the schedule. Then you can move on to the monthly calendar and holidays. So for example, if you don't have school on December 24th or 25th, just click on the edit for the days and select no classes. This will make sure that it's taken out of attendance calculations. Let's go back to the monthly calendar and schedule. Over here, you can also create the day schedule. So for example, if you have different day schedules during the week, this is where you would adjust it. In the reports section, you will be able to edit the address format. So over here, this is how it will appear when you send out report cards. You can adjust the font for all of the reports. You can choose what you would like to see on the header. So for example, the motto, the logo, the printed date, or you can suppress the header overall. Over here, you can also add the logo. It will appear on the report cards, and it will also appear on the top left corner. In the online access section, you can mass invite students as well as teachers and parents. Let's switch back to all students. and you will be able to see which students have their emails in the system and which don't. After you've entered all the emails, you can email them an invitation. Just click Email Selected. You can edit the message by clicking over here, and then click Send. You can also print out the invitations so students can log in. In the Customize Invitation text, you can customize the default message for everybody, or customize the message for teachers, for students, and for parents. In the Settings section, you will be able to control who has online access to the gradebook. So if you only want teachers to have access to the online gradebook, make sure they're the only ones selected. You can also disable weekly mailings by selecting this box. To embargo final grades, just enter a date for a quarter, and students and parents will not be able to see the final grade until the certain date. In the Import and Export section, we have the option to mass import students through a CSV file. Just make sure that the formatting is appropriate and the system will automatically populate the gradebook with the student and their information. We also have the option to export attendance, both day and class attendance, as well as grades and custom field data. It exports in a CSV file, and we recommend doing that periodically just to have a backup record on your hard drive or computer. In the custom fields and tabs section, we've been over the custom fields, so let's take a look at the record values. Over here, you'll be able to fill out custom fields in one place rather than clicking back and forth between students. You can just fill it out right over here in one page. In the attendance box, we have the marks option. This is where you create all of your attendance marks. Just click Add Attendance Mark, select a name, select the category that it applies to, if it's excused, if it records minutes, or if it has an ADA status. Once you've done that, just click Save, and it will appear right over here. After, you go to the daily calculations, and you select which attendance marks will show up for the teachers and administrators. The ones that are selected will be the ones that appear. You can select for the attendance to be for the entire day, or just for selected periods. Down here is where you create the rules for how the attendance is calculated. Over here, you can decide who has precedence with attendance calculations. So it can be only administrators or only teachers/staff. Or you can decide that both admin and staff have precedence, or who takes precedence. Over here, we've already been over the standards and skills, but let's take a look at final grades. The final grade scale is what you assign in the Classes tab, and this is what will show up on the report card. So if you select letter grades, our default grading scale, that's what will show up. You can edit the grading scale, you can edit the GPA value, as well as if it earns credits or not. You can also create different grading scales by click Add Final Grade Scale, and you can create grade scales such as this if that's what aligns with your school. The percent GPA value is how the GPA is calculated. You can also edit that, disable it for your school, or enable it. And over here we have additional options. You can select which default grading scale appears when you create a new class. You can select the rounding place for final grades, as well as the minimum percent to earn extra credit. Down here, we have the account owner function. Please keep in mind that we only have one account owner for an account. The account owner can create additional administrator. In order to do that, just click Add Additional Administrator, and ThinkWave will generate an access code that then the account owner will give to the person who should be a future additional administrator. Just use it when you log in and follow the little instruction tab that we have above. Over here we have the lock and unlock function. Once the school year is over, an administrator can lock the previous school year in order to make sure no data is tampered with. Right now, our data is unlocked. And then the rollover function is what you should use when you are done with one school year and you will move on to the next school year. Here you can choose to move students from one grade level to another, or you can choose not to copy students over to the new year. If you choose not to copy students over to the new year, they will remain in the previous year, but the next year will be blank. But we will go over the rollover functions a little bit more in detail later. So now let's move on to the teacher gradebook. To get to the teacher gradebook, please go to the Teachers tab and then click Visit Teacher Gradebook. The administrator can view any gradebook of any teacher or student. This will take us to the default grid. However, we will focus that in a second. Let's go to the dashboard first. On the dashboard, the teacher can click the Start button and they can take a look at the different steps in order to set up their gradebook. They will see upcoming assignments, so any assignments that are going to be due within the next 10 days or so. They will see any recent assignments for which the due date has recently passed, as well as the attendance for the day. As you can see, it shows the particular student as well as their marks. Now let's go to the Messages tab. The Messages tab is very similar as in the Administrator tab. The teacher can switch between terms, between the different classes, as well as view messages from the administrator. As you can see here, there are 2 new comments for this particular message, and this is what it would look like. Here are the comments down here. Next, we will go to the Students tab. Unlike in the Administrator view, the Students tab just gives a general overview, which the teacher cannot edit. They can view the information, they can switch between the different classes that they have, or select all classes, and they are able to switch back and forth between the students. Now we'll go to the Final Grades tab. This one is also very similar to the Administrator one. However, instead of the teacher grade, you will see the calculated grade that has been created by ThinkWave based on the assignments. The teacher can override the grade if they deem necessary, just like we did here, and add a comment as to why it has been done. Next, you can also see that we have the graded skills that we have added in the Classes tab, and the teacher can add the grades right here. Now we will go to the Final Grades by Students tab, which is also once again very similar to the one in the Administrator tab. The only difference is that the first grade, it's calculated by the system. As you can see, this gives a general overview as well as the grades we have just entered for this student. Now let's go to the Attendance tab. The biggest difference for the teacher attendance is that they don't have attendance by student, they only have class attendance. However, they also have the ability to switch between terms as well as between classes and select the dates via this calendar. Over here, the teacher can add their marks right here, as well as minutes for tardies and comments for the absent and tardy marks. And they're able to view the admin mark if it has been added. The teacher can also lock the attendance once the day has passed. Now in the Reports tab, we have a lot of overlapping reports for the teachers, such as class attendance detail. It's similar to student detail 1 and 2. Class enrollment, as well as weekly attendance. It's the same as in the Administrator view. The missing assignments and student summary are also the same as in the administrator view. Let's take a look at the unique report called the gradebook report. As you can see, we have the first term here. The teacher can generate an overall report for what has been done in a particular class, such as assignments and grades. Let's take a look at what it would look like. As you can see here, it gives us an overview of all of the students, as well as all of the assignments and all of the grades that have been done in that particular term. So the teacher can really track down their students' progress. Now, let's go to the gradebook tab. As I mentioned earlier, by default, every teacher will see this grid, so it shows all of the assignments for a term. The term can be switched right over here, as well as the final calculated grade in the different classes. The final calculated grade shows up on the left-hand side under Quick Fill, right over here. In order to add an assignment, a teacher can do a few things. They can either go to Add Assignment right here, or click Add Assignment right here, or they can go to the Assignments tab. Over here, the teacher can see the overview of the actual assignment. So the description would look like this. They can see the due date, the type of assignment that it is, as well as what it's graded based on, if it can have a discussion, or if it can be submitted online. A teacher can add files if they deem necessary, and they can grade the students right away. So as you can see right here. Since the grades have been entered, comments can be entered as well. Since the grades have been entered, the grade recorded will show up over here. As you can see, the dotted line is green. We can see any comments that have been made on the particular assignment. This is where teachers and students can communicate. The teacher can see the student work. As you can see, a file has been submitted, and they can see and return any feedback to the student based on the assignment. You can see there have been teacher revisions done and files attached to this assignment. To create an assignment, click Add Assignment, select a name for the assignment, the type of assignment that it is, the date it has been assigned, as well as the due date. Select the grading type. I will choose points. Add the points right here. And then you can select if it's extra credit, if it can be submitted online, and if it will have a discussion under it. Next, add the description. And if you would like, you can add a file as well. You could also choose to copy the assignment to any other class that the teacher is teaching. After that, just click Save. The assignment will automatically appear in the correct term. So as you can see, it's in semester 2 since we entered an according due date. As you can see, no assignments have been done yet, so you will see a grade line right over here. In the gradebook by student, a teacher can pull up the progress for an individual student. Over here, all of the assignments will show up, as well as the grades. The blue line means that the due date has passed and no submissions have been made. In ThinkWave, if you enter an M, the system will automatically calculate it as a missing and mark it accordingly. You can also add an E for excused. When creating grading options and grading scales, please make sure to keep that in mind because these are the default settings, and an E and an M will always be missing and excused. Now let's go to the setup. In the setup, we have the final grade scales that have been created by the administrator. So as you can see, this is everything that has been done by the administrator on their end, and the teacher cannot edit these grading scales. However, the teacher can create their own assignment grade scales if they deem necessary. All they would have to do is just click Add Grade Scale and adapt it accordingly for their class. Next, we have the grading options. Over here, the teacher can either select to have default grading options for all of their classes or adapt them individually for different classes. Let's look at the grading options. Over here, the teacher can add assignment types either by clicking Add/Edit Assignment Types down here, or they can go into the separate tab in the setup. The teachers can select to drop the lowest grades or count all of the grades, and they can edit the weighting category over here. They can also select not to use it, then the system will calculate all of the assignment types equally. Down here, the teacher can select for an average of first and second quarter grade, just like in semester 1, or opt out not to use it, then both semesters will be weighted equally. Next, we have the different assignment types. Just click Add Assignment Type, add the name, and click Save. Next, we have the option to copy assignments from semester to semester. So just select the type of assignments you would like to copy, and they will automatically copy over. Next, we have the Files section, basically showing all of the files that have been uploaded to the teacher gradebook. And the teacher can view their blog ID right here. To go back to the administrator view, simply click Return to Admin View right here. Lastly, we'll go over the student and parent views. The student and parent views are pretty much identical, so just click Visit Student Account in the Students tab. On the dashboard, the student will have a quick guide to setup. They will also see any upcoming assignments within the next 3 weeks. They will see any assignments that are in review, meaning the due date has already passed, any missing assignments that have been marked, as well as their complete assignments that have been graded. The Messages tab is pretty much the same as in the Admin and Teacher view, except that students cannot create messages on their own. They can only respond right over here. Over here, the student can switch between the terms, and they can switch between classes. Let's go to the Assignments tab. The Assignments tab is where the student can view all of the assignment in a particular term, as well as in a particular class, or all classes. Over here, they will see a general overview of all of the assignments that have been graded or assigned. They can view the grade right here and see any comments. In the Attendance tab, both the parents and students can view their attendance for a particular term and for all classes right over here. As you can see, we have the tardy, we have the minutes, we have the marks. Next, we will go to the Grades tab. In the Grades tab, the students can track their own progress, and the parents will be able to view the progress of their child as well. All of the grades will be shown here for a particular term. The biggest difference between the parent and student account is that the parents cannot submit assignments. Let's go back. This has been the general walkthrough of all of the ThinkWave features, and hopefully now you will have a better idea as to how to set up the gradebook and how the features generally work. If you have any questions, please reach out to us to support@thinkwave.com or sales@thinkwave.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. We hope that you will enjoy using ThinkWave. Thank you for watching.